Hello and welcome to Unreal5Master. My name is Michal and I would like to show you how to drop weapon in LYRA starter game just by using blueprints. We have fresh LYRA project here in Unreal 5.3 environment. We start by opening plugins, shooter core content and input, where we can find ability and action for dropping weapon. It's by default it's not enabled, and we enable it by adding input context mapping. I use X key, but you can use any key you like. We also print string when our ability is executed, so we would know how many or when is executed. We try it. When I press X key, weapon disappears, but plenty of hello strings are printed on the screen. So it means that the ability was executed multiple times. We change this behavior by adding trigger for pressed. It limits the button to be pressed only once. Okay, now we can see that only one hello is printed on the screen. Now we need to add new function to our hero shooter mannequin. It's a class which is used for instantiating bots or player. We name it drop weapon function. There is inventory item on the input. It's of LYRA inventory item instance object reference type. We use this input to find pickup icon fragment. We chose this fragment because it contains skeletal mesh reference. We check whether it's valid, and we need to create variable which will map skeletal mesh to pickup definition. So as a key there is a skeletal mesh reference, and as a value there will be LYRA pickup data. LYRA pickup data object reference. We add one row for this map to this map for pistol. For this tutorial it's enough, but you need to add rows for every weapon you have. Okay, now we have it. As you can see, there is a skeletal mesh mapped to weapon definition of pistol. Okay, we use skeletal mesh reference from our fragment to find row in our map. And first thing, of course, is to check whether we found something. So branch, and then we get from our result, we get item definition. But first we need to check, or we need to print something when we found nothing, because it saves you a lot of headaches. Okay, now we get item definition from our item, found item, get inventory item definition. Okay, and now we want to spawn our weapon, but we don't know how. We would use grant inventory bed for doing that. So search for grant. Okay, there are two of them, but we would duplicate, or will duplicate grant inventory bed. We name it grant inventory bed updated. Everything in this is fine except many of things. So we need to delete text and other things. We only accept of volume. We add skeletal mesh, and we put volume under the skeletal mesh. It's because of physics. Now we delete things which are not needed anymore or doesn't exist anymore, and adjust construction script. The rest of construction script we take from grant inventory pad with mesh, and so we set skinned asset and update, and we don't have to use pickup mesh this way, so we delete it and put it directly, yeah, like that. Okay, now it's fine. I think this construction script is done at this moment, and now we can try to spawn our weapon. We don't need to change anything in event graph. So we try to spawn it. So when everything is all right and we found our item definition and map row, so we spawn our updated grant inventory pad updated, but I don't have any place where to put item definition, of course, because we forget something. Yeah, I can't find anything, but we forget to expose it during spawn, or to expose some variables during spawn. So we open it again, and item definition expose on spawn, pick up sound if we would like to change it, and destroy on pickup. Yeah, it's quite important flag. So, and this one we delete. Okay, now it's clean. So we can put our item definition to the spawning of actor. We need to define a spawn location, of course, because otherwise it will spawn on somewhere we don't want. And we use actor location and forward actor vector for calculating spawning location. We multiply forward vector by 150, for example, and add it to actor location. That would be our spawning or throwing location, throwing start location. Okay, so that's it. Maybe we can comment it. We also need to change some variables during our spawning. For example, like collision handling override. It's like that we want to spawn it all the time, so we change it, and we also need to check destroy on pickup. It's important because otherwise it will stay in the scene all the time, even after pickup. So check it. Okay. We can also comment it that throwing start location. Throwing start location. Okay. So now we have our weapon existing in the scene, but we need to throw it. So we get skeletal mesh reference, valid skeletal mesh reference, and enable physics on it. And also add some velocity, linear velocity. So we want to get validated get or convert it to validated get because it's easier. We can check it by using branch, but this way it's easier. So we enable collisions to physics only, and also enable to simulate physics on this skeletal mesh. Yeah, it's good to tidy up from time to time so the flow is much clearer to read. And add physical linear velocity, so there is some physics or velocity and direction applied to our weapon. Okay, we need to calculate our new velocity vector, and we will again use actor forward vector because we want to throw it in front of us, and multiply by, for example, okay, first thing is to get random vector in cone in degrees. So the direction would be random. And this vector, we would use 30 degrees. And multiplied by 350. It should be enough. This vector we put as an input to our linear velocity. We command it as throwing direction and strength. I think we finished it here. I think it's done. And so the last thing is to use it in our ability. So we go to our drop weapon ability. We delete printing that string because we don't need it anymore. And for sure, or to be sure, we add check for active slot index, whether there is any weapon we are able to throw or not. We move it a little bit, and that's it. It's just some check. Maybe it's not needed, but I want to be sure, or I wanted to be sure that it works the way I expect. Now we just need to get LYRA character from actor info, so we get reference to our hero shooter mannequin, cast to that type, and call drop weapon function on it. Then we end the ability. Of course, when cast failed, we also need to end ability, because otherwise it won't end, or it will exist indefinitely. But it's up to you to edit. Okay, and now we need to give it inventory item instance, and we get it from or it's a return value of remove function or operation. Okay, we put it inside. I had to clean it a little bit because now it's clearer to see what's happening. Now we can try it, and as we can see, we can drop weapon and pick it up again, drop weapon and pick it up again. That's it. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.